Okay, good day, everyone. We are here now for the last discussion. I hope that this will be the last discussion on the subject comparative models and policy. So we're going to discuss for today's lecture the Europol. Okay, so Europol is the counterpart of Interpol, no, in European countries. So we have Europol as a short for the European Union Agency, European Union Agency for Law Enforcement Cooperation. So it's the same. It has the same function as that of the Interpol. No, however, this is the law enforcement agency, the international law enforcement agency of the European countries. No, so the Europol serves as a law enforcement agency for the European Union, no, that helps the European Union member states to fight serious international crime, no, included doon yung tinatawag nating terrorism. So, it supports the police forces across Europe, facilitating intelligence sharing, coordinating joint operations, and providing analytical and technical expertise. So, as I've stated, now, when we talk about the EU, no, or the European Union, yung counterpart ng Interpol sa European Union is the Europol. All right? So on the left, we have there the Europol official flag, no? Nakita natin dyan sa left. Right? So the purpose and role of the Europol is they assist, of course, they assist and they assist the EU member, no, the European Union members in preventing and combating organized crime, cybercrime, human trafficking, lahat ng mga binabanggit natin mga transnational and international crime, yun yung ina-address din nila, no? So included dyan, of course, yung drug trafficking, terrorism, and money laundering. So as of, syempre, this will be the last discussion, so you're familiar already with regards to these different international and transnational crime. So for the next is that Europol serve as a central hub, no? It focuses it unifies all the effort of the different European Union, no, in terms of criminal intelligence gathering, no, which makes the European Union, no, collaborate, no, more effectively. So sila yung nagbe-bridge naman doon sa mga member state ng European Union, no, on how they can better coordinate their efforts, no, towards combating this transnational and international crime. Now, so the key function of Europol we have here, intelligence sharing. Now, when we talk about intelligence, intelligence refers to the information gathered, information gathered pertinent to the criminal activities of different criminal organizations. So this Europol facilitates now the intelligence sharing. So for example, one European country had gathered intelligence as to the criminal activities of one infamous criminal organization, i-share nila yan ngayon sa lahat ng member state. Another is coordination of joint operations. So, naman the nature of the problem, transnational crime, is that we cannot deal, or one country cannot deal with it alone, no? Kailangan talagang merong cooperation and participation by the concerned countries. So, Europol ang nangunguna, nagpo-facilitate para nang sa ganun is maging well-coordinated yung strategies and actions of the different European countries on how they can better solve the crime problem, especially with transnational crime. Now, crime analysis is also included under the function of the Europol, no? Under the crime analysis, they provide, strategic and operational analysis to detect crime patterns, it assists in establishing crime patterns, determining the possible threats and the emerging risks that European countries may be facing in the future, and so on. So Europol din may trabaho dyan. It supports also the member states, no? Ganun din naman, no? Titingnan natin si Interpol, ganun din yung kanyang ginagawa, no? Nagbibigay ito ng seminars, training, capacity building, and so on, no? As an effort, of course, to address the growing problem on transnational crime, no? Training and capacity building are also included, right? So the headquarters of Europol is found in Hague, Netherlands. The Hague, Netherlands, no? Europol is the European Union Central Law Enforcement Agency, 'di ba? Sabi ko nga counterpart 'yan ng Interpol kasi kung maalala niyo si Interpol, siya din ang law enforcement agency ng UN, United Nations. Okay? So they work, no, together to unite and support the policing efforts of all member states in fighting transnational crimes. Okay? We have here the different member state of the Europol, no, of the European Union, and of course, now if you're a member of the European Union, then parte ka rin ng tinatawag nating Europol. So these are the different member countries of the EU. We have the Austria, Croatia, Denmark, France, Hungary, Latvia, Malta, and the list goes on, no, until Sweden. So yan yung mga European countries natin, right? So that's the concept of Europol, no? Same din lang sila ng purpose, no, and reason for the establishment of Interpol. No, yun nga lang magkaibang grupo yung kanilang focus, no? One is for Western and Asian countries, Southeast Asian and Asian countries, no, and the other is more on the European countries, right? We have also the ASEANopol, no, ASEANopol, or known as the ASEAN Chief of National Police, no, is a regional organization, no, composed of the different police forces of the member countries of the ASEAN. Now remember, we are a member of the ASEAN, no, or the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. So ASEAN tayo. So we are also a member of the ASEANopol, no. This organization serves as a platform, no, for cooperation and coordination and information sharing among police agencies to combat transnational crime and enhance public safety across Southeast Asia. So aside from being a member of the UN, United Nations, we are also a member of the ASEANopol, no, or the Association of the Southeast Asian Nation, no. So ang primary law enforcement body din nila, no, ng ASEAN is the so-called ASEANopol. Alright? ASEANopol stands for ASEAN Police, no? And we know for a fact what is ASEAN already, Association of Southeast Asian Nation, no? If you add police, no, yan na yung ASEANopol. Okay? It's formally known as ASEAN Chiefs of National Police Conference, right? So that's just a little bit of history. Now, as to the members of the ASEAN, we have, as of today, we have 10, no, countries or member countries of the ASEAN. And they are Brunei, Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam, no? So yan po yung member ng ASEAN, right? The primary objective of the ASEANopol is to promote regional cooperation. Regional, naka-localize ito, no? Regional cooperation in law enforcement and combat transnational crimes included doon. Syempre, we know this for a fact, no? The different transnational crime, drug trafficking, human trafficking, cybercrime, terrorism, money laundering, and they are also they also include as their primary objectives yung pag-share ng mga intelligence and best practices among member police agencies, no? Strengthen police capabilities through training and joint operation. That's why we are studying itong tinatawag natin comparative models on policing. Because if you want to pattern, no? If you want to pattern our strategies no, and even our policing strategies, no, to one country, no, we could do so by making or patterning it to the members of ASEAN-APOL. Kasi sila ang pinaka-close sa atin in terms of how do you call this? A geopolitical aspect, no? Parehas tayo doon sa mga member countries ng ASEAN, no? Madali, no? May common ground ang members ng ASEAN countries. So, magandang i-pattern natin ang ating policy strategies sa mga ASEAN countries. Well, we can do so also with other Western countries like in US, pero kung titignan natin, it's not practical kasi magkaiba tayo ng demographics, no? So, kung i-pattern man natin ang policing agencies natin, we could do so by comparing it to the ASEAN countries, no? So, yun yung aralin natin. Ano ba ang policing strategy ng Brunei? Ano ba ang policing strategy ng Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar, and other ASEAN countries? No? So they are the closest in terms of demographics na pwede nating pagkopyahan ng policing strategy. No? We could always do so in other countries, but then again, kailangan natin i-consider yung factor like for example, the demographics of the people, no, in one country, and we can only efficiently compare, or we could possibly adopt, no, strategies that are being implemented with or by those countries that we are similar, no, or our economy, our politics are almost the same, and they are with the ASEAN countries, right? What's the key function of the ASEAN-APOL? No, one of their function is hosting annual conference where police chiefs discuss regional security challenges. No, yan. Tayo yatang mag-host ngayon ng ASEAN Summit na kinakandak nila. No, so annually nagkakaroon tayo ng ASEAN Summit, and I think this year 2025 or 2026 tayo ang naka-designate na mag-host ng ASEAN Summit, right? So, during the ASEAN Summit, dyan din nagkakaroon ng discussion ng mga members ng ASEAN-APOL, right? So, creating working groups focus on specific crimes types like for example, narcotics, no, that focuses on drug trafficking and cybercrime. We have also facilitating extradition and information exchange between countries, no, through our different law enforcement agencies, enhancing border security and joint investigation. So those are among the key functions. To add to that, no, we have also ASEAN-APOL is a vital regional policing body that helps ASEAN nations work together to fight crime, share intelligence, and maintain peace and order across Southeast Asia. Okay, so the ASEAN-APOL, no, helps in attaining a cooperation between the different member countries of the ASEAN, no, in order to address the current problem that we have in terms of transnational and international crime within our cluster, no, which is the Southeast Asia, right? So the last one is we are going to discuss the ICC. No, you probably heard about the ICC already due to the arrest of the former President Rodrigo Duterte. Doon siguro natin narinig ang ICC. No, so I'm just going to discuss it briefly. Ano ba ang ICC? ICC refers to the International Criminal Court. No, it is a permanent international court established to investigate, prosecute, and prosecute individuals for the most serious crimes like genocide, no, mass killing of a certain race or group, crimes against humanity. Yun yung ina-allege kasi kay former President Rodrigo Duterte, no, yung mga extrajudicial killing and the like will fall under the crimes against humanity. No, war crimes, no, crime of aggression. So yun yung mga may jurisdiction, no, yun yung mga cases or mga events, no, na may jurisdiction ng ating ICC. All right. So the background and legal basis of the ICC. no? So ICC was established in Rome by the Rome Statute, no, which was adopted in 1998, no, and entered into force in July 1, 2002. So the court is independent and not part of the United Nations. It's an independent part, but it's of course a component of the organization formed by different countries, member of the United Nations. But you can see that though they are not directly under the United Nations, but they are in cooperation with the United Nations. No? So nakikipag-cooperate sila. So the headquarters is also found in Hague, Netherlands. That's where former President Rodrigo Duterte was brought kasi nandun ang headquarter ng International Criminal Court. No? So doon siya dinala sa Hague, The Hague. Right? Ano ba yung jurisdiction of the ICC? When we say jurisdiction, ano yung saklaw ng kanilang kapangyarihan? No? So the ICC can investigate and prosecute crimes when the accused is a national of a state party to the Rome Statute. So if we are a member of the tawag nito, if we are a part of the Rome Statute, or shortly we are part of the UN, then they have jurisdiction over us. No, that the crime occurred in a state party's territory. The crime was committed in your territory. For example, you're from Philippines, then you should be, and it so happens that Philippines is under or is a member of the United Nations, which is working together with the ICC. So meron silang jurisdiction over us. The case is referred to the United Nations Security Council, no? Kung yung kaso ba na isampas sa United Nations Security Council, no? Again, what is important here is that we are a member of the United Nations. Automatically, if we are a member of the United Nations, then definitely we fall under the jurisdiction of the ICC also, no? A non-member state accepts the jurisdiction of the court, no? If, for example, we are not a member, just like what former President Rodrigo Duterte, no, umalis tayo sa ICC, no, we can still be subjected to the jurisdiction of the ICC if we accept the jurisdiction of the ICC. So, yung ginawa kasi ng ating government, surrendering former President Rodrigo Duterte, is a waiver. It seems like it acts like a waiver, kumbaga, di ba, na inaccept natin yung jurisdiction ng ICC. So, papasok pa rin siya doon. No? Masasabi natin na may jurisdiction ng ICC doon sa case na na-commit or doon sa allegation against former President Rodrigo Duterte. No? Which is yun yung ini-issue kasi nila, that the ICC has no longer jurisdiction over the Philippines because we already parted ways, no? Humiwalay na tayo sa ICC. Okay? But the issue there is that the alleged crime was committed when we are still a member. No? Yun yung isang mabigat doon eh. Hindi naman porket umalis na tayo, umalis na yung bansa natin as a member of the ICC, wala na tayong jurisdiction. The point there is that the alleged crime, yung mga inaakusa kay former President Rodrigo Duterte was committed nung member pa tayo, di ba? So they might have still jurisdiction over us. Okay? Who can be prosecuted? The ICC prosecute individuals, not states or organizations. So individuals, no, they will not. For example, yung government, the former President Rodrigo Duterte allegedly had committed a crime or violation of that is considered as a crimes against humanity, the extrajudicial killing and so on. Ang kakasuhan is not the entirety of the Philippines, no? Hindi ganon. Kung sino ang pinaka-head, no? Kung sino ang namuno doon sa mga action na ina-allege, then siya lang yung ipro-prosecute, just like the case of former President Rodrigo Duterte, no? Though marami namang police or may mga police naman na personally involved in extrajudicial killing on the allegation, pero hindi sila yung dadalhin sa jurisdiction ng ICC. Rather, kung sino ang political leader during that time, kung sino ang president natin during the time that these were committed. Okay? This includes also military leaders, no, can be also prosecuted by the ICC, political officials like our mga politicians natin, or anyone responsible for committing serious international crime, no? So the functions of the ICC is they are investigating and tries suspect of international crime. So they have the trial power, diba? They have the power to conduct trial for allegations that have been committed, promotes justice for victims of the worst crime, deter future violations by holding individuals accountable. Yun yung ginagawa nila para wala nang iba pang maging gumaya doon sa act ng isang president. For example, is that they're going to conduct an investigation and most likely issue a sanction, no, to deter. Pag sinabi kasi nating deter, no, dismayahin yung mga possible pang mag-commit ng same violation. This also strengthens the international legal standard for human rights and war, no? Kaya meron tayong ICC because sometimes kapag dictatorship na yung namayagpag sa isang bansa, wala na, no? Paano mo pa kakasuhan? Halimbawa, yung presidente kung siya ang may hawak sa power doon sa jurisdiction niya, 'di ba? Paano mo sampahan ng kaso ang isang presidente? Siya yung presidente tapos ikaw ordinaryong mamamayan ka lang. So, it's very impossible to secure justice in that manner. At doon naman pumapasok ang ICC natin, no? If the victim feels helpless because the perpetrator is a political leader in their country and so on, papasok si ICC, right? These are also the important things that we need to remember, no? Not all countries are member of the ICC, no? For example, United States, not a member of the ICC. China, Russia, and India are not parties to the Rome Statute. Okay? So, though United States is the member of the UN, not automatically that they're also a part of the ICC. So, pwede yun, no? Pwede halimbawa, guys, sa atin, Pilipinas, though we are member of the UN, but does not mean that we are under the jurisdiction of ICC. Pwede naman tayong kumalas, gaya ng ginawa ni former President Rodrigo Duterte. No, Philippines withdrew, no, from the ICC on March 2019. This was during the presidency of former President Duterte, no, but the court can still investigate crimes that occurred while the country was a member. O, yun na nga yung sinasabi natin kanina. Though we are no longer a part of the ICC, no, kasi kumalas na tayo, pero ang issue kasi dito is that the alleged crime, yung mga isinampang kaso sa kanya was committed nung member pa tayo. So, pwede pa rin yung magkaroon ng jurisdiction sa atin. The International Criminal Court is the world's first permanent court dedicated to prosecute individuals for genocide if yung mga crime na nakomit nila is genocide, or hindi naman kaya is related sa war crimes or crimes against humanity and aggression, no? So, doon pumapasok ang ICC natin. The ICC plays a very vital role in promoting global justice, accountability, and human rights, no? Especially national courts are unable or unwilling to act. Now, remember, now, yun yung ina-argue ng ibang politician that they're saying that we have a working justice process or justice system in Philippines. Why do we need to have the ICC? No? Well, legally, marami tayong pwedeng i-cite na mga argument pagdating dito, but then again, no, we are not a lawyer, so disclaimer, okay? Not a lawyer, I'm not expert to this one, but let's just simply understand it on the basis that we can be able to grasp, no? So hanggang dun lang yung ating explanation with regards to ICC. Again, we need to remember that not all member countries of the UN are member also of the ICC, no? The ICC has jurisdiction over cases that was committed when the country is still a member of the ICC, even if later on nag-withdraw na sila, just like what happened in our country, no? The International Criminal Court will serve as a permanent, no, court that is dedicated in prosecuting individuals that violated yung mga binanggit natin, no? Especially when in a certain country they have no working courts or they're not acting, no, on the complaints or cases that has been committed in relation to the crimes that were mentioned that automatically falls under the jurisdiction of the ICC, no? So kapag wala nang gumaganang batas or korte doon sa isang bansa, no, pwede nang manghimasok or pumasok si ICC at siya na ang mag-conduct ng trial para makapag-render ng justice. Alright? So that's it, no? That's the entirety of the discussion that we have under comparative models and policing. No, I hope I was able to impart my knowledge with regards to the subject matter. Congratulations kung natapos mo lahat yung lectures natin. No, you have the basic knowledge now on comparative models and policy. No, so if you have questions, feel free to comment in the comment section. If you also want to share our video, like our video, no, or subscribe to our channel, please consider doing so. Okay, that's it for today, guys. Thank you for listening for the entire comparative models and policing lecture series. No? Ang next natin i-discuss will be police professional conducts and ethical standard. No? So abangan ninyo yung magiging upload natin doon. That's it for today, guys. See you on the next lecture. Bye-bye.